Imagine a world where resources are extremely limited and people are struggling just to survive. In the middle of this harsh world, one man discovers something that could completely change his life: a massive piece of gold buried in the desert. But will he actually be able to take it? The movie begins with a man named Virgil traveling on a train. The world around him looks completely different from normal civilization, and resources are clearly scarce. Virgil himself has very little food, but he gives some of it to a woman and her child. After getting off the train, Virgil arrives at a remote desert outpost. There, he meets a man named Keith, who picks him up. The two men drive deep into the middle of the desert. During their journey, their old vehicle breaks down. While checking the area, Virgil notices something shining beneath the ground. They start digging, and what they discover is unbelievable. Buried beneath the desert is an enormous gold nugget. It is so huge that neither of them can remove it with the equipment they have. Both men immediately realize that this discovery could make them incredibly wealthy. But they need heavy machinery to get the gold out. Keith decides to go and find the equipment. Virgil agrees to stay behind and protect the gold. Keith leaves him with some food and water and promises to return. At first, Virgil believes Keith will be back soon, but the hours turn into days. And Keith doesn't return. Now, Virgil is completely alone. He has only a limited amount of food and water, while the desert around him is brutally hot and unforgiving. But there is one thing he refuses to leave behind: the gold. Virgil knows that if he walks away, someone else could discover it and take it. So he stays. Day after day, the heat and dehydration begin to destroy his strength. He encounters dangerous creatures in the desert, and at one point a snake causes him to lose some of his precious supplies. Then Virgil discovers the wreckage of a crashed airplane. He searches through it and takes anything that might help him survive. But one question continues to haunt him. Where is Keith? And why hasn't he come back? Eventually, Virgil encounters a mysterious woman wandering through the desert. She is also trying to survive in this harsh environment. But Virgil doesn't trust her. He becomes afraid that she might know about the gold. Their situation becomes increasingly tense. Eventually, the confrontation turns violent, and Virgil kills the woman. Now, he has another problem. He has to deal with what he has done. He tries to bury her body, but animals disturb the grave. Eventually, Virgil takes the body away from his camp and burns it. But his nightmare is far from over. A powerful sandstorm hits the area and destroys his shelter. Virgil is injured, and his chances of survival become even smaller. With extreme heat, dehydration, and his injuries taking their toll, his mental condition also begins to deteriorate. He starts seeing strange visions. Another mysterious woman eventually appears. She seems to be connected to the woman Virgil encountered earlier. She tries to help him, but Virgil has become so paranoid that he can no longer trust anyone. At this point, it becomes difficult to tell what is real and what may simply be a hallucination caused by his deteriorating condition. Then, Virgil finally makes contact with Keith through the radio. Keith tells him that he has returned. For the first time in a long while, Virgil thinks his nightmare might finally be coming to an end. But the truth is much darker. Virgil doesn't know that Keith has been watching him from a distance. Keith wasn't simply gone looking for equipment. He was waiting for Virgil to become too weak to survive. Keith's plan was simple. Let Virgil protect the gold. Let the desert destroy him. Then come back and take the gold for himself. Eventually, Virgil becomes too weak to defend himself against the wild dogs in the desert. He dies. Now Keith believes everything has gone according to plan. He finally approaches the gold. After all that waiting, the treasure is finally within his reach. But just as Keith gets close, an arrow suddenly strikes him. Keith dies as well. The movie never completely explains who fired the arrow, leaving the final moments deliberately mysterious. And the most ironic part is this: the gold that Virgil sacrificed everything for. The gold that Keith betrayed him for. Nobody gets it. It remains buried in the desert. The movie's ending delivers a dark message about greed and obsession. Virgil wanted to become the owner of the gold, but slowly, the gold became the owner of his life. Keith betrayed Virgil to get the gold, but it couldn't save him either. In the end, both men are dead. while the gold remains exactly where it was. The treasure they believed would change their lives ultimately became